On this day in 2020, hundreds of people gathered at 72nd and Dodge for what began as a peaceful protest about the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Well, later that night, Omaha police said the protests became unlawful and they urged people to leave the area. Police had to deploy smoke cans into the crowd after a police car was surrounded by protesters. Then Governor Pete Ricketts encouraged those protesting to exercise their First Amendment rights, but to do so in a peaceful way.